Park gives emerging artists and studio artists a great opportunity to, if you will, get their feet wet in the public art world, to see, one, if they can do this, two, if they want to do it, and three, if they're successful at it. A few projects that stood out from the 2016 cycle of Tempo were Michael Anthony Garcia's project entitled El Capacitor. He built a podium and a stage flanked by 5 flagpoles. On the flagpoles were handmade flags made from local residents' clothing. Again, this is a Central East Austin commentary on gentrification and communication with the neighborhood and the residents.
I did these workshops with a teen program and with the seniors where we wrote poetry. And I kind of led them through a process to express themselves about their community. I had some questions also that I used on clipboards for a recent event at the recreation center. Kind of the lead questions or the sentence stems that I had. What is it like a community to you? How has your community changed? I turned a lot of what they gave me into a spoken word piece that I performed at the end of the East Austin studio tour on site. I also had some other people from the community come and read their own poetry. People that attended the event were also invited to come up and participate if they wanted to. I had some local musicians perform. It's great to bring artwork to the people. Like a lot of times people don't understand or they're intimidated by art, the general public. And so when you bring it to their doorstep, I think that's a really great way to, make it more comfortable for them, make it more accessible.
Let's come together. Let's get along.
The Tempo 2016 program worked in conjunction with multiple City of Austin departments. We did our first project with the Transportation Department. The artist's project entitled Signals had custom graphic design and poems printed on a vinyl adhesive wrapped, and then they were installed on 5 different utility boxes along the South First Street corridor. Each box and the design of the graphics represents and reflects the corner that it was installed on.
We live in the neighborhood, so we wanted to do something that gave back to the community. And this was a canvas that was already on the street, so making use of something that pedestrians normally walk by every day without noticing. Each box has a graphic and narrative and audio component with it. And each box tells a unique story that relates to an everyday experience.
There is an underground network of fungus beneath your feet where you can find 7 miles of conduit and 1 pinch of dirt. The trees talk to each other. Sickness overcomes if one is to be plucked.
That's the whole point of it is experiencing it on the sidewalk and being on the street. It's also constantly changing.
Tempo has definitely opened us up to a world we didn't know existed. We didn't know that there was programs to sustain artists. It was an opportunity as graphic artists to actually be in the public. Typically, it's not something that you get to experience.
We also worked with Parks and Rec Department to help people realize the beautiful and natural resources we have, not only in our community centers, but in our parks.
With my twin daughters, who are 5-year-olds, we've been reading a lot of fairy tales lately and a lot of folk tales and rhymes and so forth. And I always enjoyed the story about Humpty Dumpty, and I was particularly interested that Humpty Dumpty is always portrayed as a guy, and it's never really explicit whether it's a man or a woman or, whatever it is. It's an egg, right? And so I wanted to see what it would look like as a girl when we look at a main character, why do we always assume that it's a guy? You know, this idea of an egg was kind of interesting to me. You know, what is an egg? Why egg represents a person? When it falls, it breaks, so it kind of points to the fragile part of human existence. So it plays a music written by Austin composer, my husband, Evgeny Charlotte. And it moves a little bit, so if you come to it, it'll interact with you. Whenever I'm here, I do see people, you know, trying to move it and try to make it play music, and usually makes people laugh, which is, you know, a big part of what this is about. So, you know, it's for amusement and for pleasure and for pretty much audiences of all ages and backgrounds.
I'm very proud of the city of Austin. This is the place to be. This town does support our local artists, and it does give the artists creative freedom to try new things. Most of that turning out to be very successful.